Hey Sally, do you know where the bags for patient property have moved to?
Hi Jenny, yes, just over here. I needed some earlier. Have you been caring for Ben daily? I heard he just passed away. Sorry, Jenny. Are you okay?
Thanks, Sally. I'm okay. Ben was quite a character. I will certainly miss him being around here. We had some great chats.
What are you doing now then?
Well, there's always lots to do when someone passes, making sure that the family are okay and following policy and the care plan with all the legal aspects of care that need addressing.
I've never had anyone I've cared for die before. It must be really scary. I bet it's horrible managing all that.
Actually, no. I know this may sound odd, but I find it the biggest privilege that as part of my role I can help families say goodbye to their loved one. I can help make it a nice, peaceful memory that they can look back on knowing their loved one was cared for.
Wow. I guess I never looked at it like that before. Don't you get scared though? You never know what the family are going to say and how they'll react when someone passes.
Well, that's true. Everyone reacts differently. The important part is that you've invested time before someone dies, getting to know the family and building a rapport. To be honest, I don't have a set way of talking with families when someone has passed. Every situation is very different, so I ask the family every time what they would like. Some people are scared and want you to stay with them and explain everything that's happened or will happen. Some people want you to stay there and not say anything at all, just be there as emotional support. Some people want time alone with their loved one and don't want you there at all, and that's fine. Some people want time alone but for a familiar face to frequently come by to answer any questions, or just for emotional support, or to bring a cup of tea. You never really know which option is best, so I always ask, how can I support you?
How do you do that and what do you say to the family?
Well, when someone has died, obviously the focus of care is on the family or the people that were there, making sure that they're emotionally okay. So thinking ahead when you know someone is end of life, making sure there are water jugs and cups in the room, a couple boxes of tissues available, seats available near the bed so people can sit down and hold the hands of their loved one, that kind of thing. Make sure any specific cultural or religious rites have been addressed. You should know all the details of what the family need, end of life, from a thorough palliative assessment and the care plan. That's why I take my time with recently admitted palliative residents. I want to really understand them, their needs, and how I can support them and their families, especially at the end. If I don't know the answer, I try and think, what would I want in this situation? And I'll always go and ask my supervisor. They're always a big help.
There's so much to think about. How do you remember it all?
Well, each aged care home has an organisational policy that will give you step-by-step guides on the practical aspects of care. You can look at the care plan too. When someone initially passes, the most important thing is that the relevant people have been contacted. You should let your supervisor know immediately. They can then contact the relevant people, including the palliative care team. The next of kin need to be notified as well if they aren't already present. The nurses or the doctor usually do that. Some form of support for the family should be contacted, if they want it, like pastoral care, a social worker, or a cultural or religious support person.
What about washing the body?
It's important to try and lay the body flat as soon as you can, but you need to be respectful with timing and the family if they are present. Try and bring the arms to the sides of the body and gently close the eyes if they are open. From a skills perspective, it's pretty much the same as washing a person in bed. I do find that I talk to the person as if they're still alive though. I find it more respectful and makes the process easier to cope with.
That's really weird.
Not at all. It feels weird not saying anything, to be honest. Once the body has been washed, I always fold the sheet really neatly under the arms and make sure the hands are over the top of the sheet so that the family can come back and hold their hand if they want to. Touch is really important. Not all people want to touch the body, but many do. Once the doctor is attended, the family can come back in if they want to. I make sure again that there are fresh tissues, jugs of cold water, and a call bell for the family. This is where I usually ask them if they'd like me to stay or not. It's important to be patient and not rush the family. Some families may want to stay a couple of hours, and that's okay.
What about you though? Don't you ever get affected by death and the things you've seen?
I make sure that I talk things through with my supervisor or with other colleagues that may have been through the same situation. Simply talking about things makes it so much easier to understand what happened, why it happened, and my feelings and emotions about the situation. After a death, particularly if it involved resuscitation, it can be very stressful. You need to talk about the things that happened. Your supervisor should be able to lead a debrief. You should also be able to access a counselling service to talk about anything that's troubling you too, if you need it. Don't forget pastoral care are great for staff as well. They're great listeners. You don't have to be religious to access pastoral care. They're happy to talk to anyone of any faith and listen to your concerns.
There's so much to remember, and you do it so well, Jenny.
The practical information should all be in the organisational policy. The rest, just think about how you would like to be treated if you were in the same situation. And always refer to your supervisor and the registered nurses. As I said, it's such a privilege to be a part of a person's care right to the end.